Hey everyone, so today I'm going to be showing you all how to rebuild differentials for these Traxxas slashes. And yeah, I'm going to just teach you all how to do this. Real quick video here. So we have part number 3978, 6882X. And then these, which are your, dropping it, ring and pinions. They come in two different part numbers because there is a rear and there is a front. And if you look on the back of the casing here, it will tell you front and rear. And if I can find a piece of packaging for the front, we have front. So 5379R and 6879R. Those are your ring and pinions XO1 diff gears. Alright. So, to show you real quick how to put this together. It takes no time at all. I should have explained this a little better. Tried zooming in, but it just didn't work right. So when you're putting these diffs together, you've got a pin, you've got a big piece of, like, I think it's sintered steel or something. Then you've got a gear, and then you've got a plate and a plate. When you're putting the plate and all of this assembly into your diff cup here, if you look into your diff cup, you'll notice it's cut with a circular shape in the bottom. Those plates also have a circular shape. It just slips right down into that diff cup, and it all fits together nicely. So figured I'd mention that. And it's probably kind of common sense, but just in case somebody's new, I'll mention this as well. These two gears that go on this shaft, make sure the teeth are facing each other, not away from one another. So that's how all that goes together. I tried zooming in and getting a good little picture of it, but it just didn't work. Metal centerpiece only goes in one particular direction. Now again, I may just not be holding my tongue right, but usually if it won't go in and I flip it, it slips right in. So it's weird like that. And now when you turn it, you'll see the gears inside turn. Pretty cool, huh? So that's all there is to assembling one of these. A couple of precautions here. These gaskets, this one in particular, can be very finicky because you have to line it up with the holes in the diff casing. So if you look at the diff casing, see the holes, the four holes? 4 holes on the gasket, you have to line those up. In my experience, I have learned it's easier to put some of your diff fluid onto this and then seat it inside of your ring gear here and get those holes lined up, and then smush it all together. We're going to go ahead and fill this full of differential fluid real quick and get all this opened up and put it all together. So we're just putting a little bit on this, for one, so it's not a dry fit, and for two, so it's a little bit tacky, and we'll actually may need a little more actually. There we go. That's lined up in there. Not perfectly, but we can use a little Allen wrench here in a minute. Okay. I'm going to take this. Put us a nice little glob. Can y'all see? Not perfectly, but good enough, I hope. I'm going to put us a nice little glob in there. And you don't really have to worry about putting too much. Whatever it doesn't need will come out. It's going to make a mess, but it'll come out. What I like to do is take me an Allen wrench, put it through your outdrive deal here. Some vehicles don't have this because the pin is on the inside and then the drive shaft, it's a little different. But the Slash has it where the set screws go here to hold your drive couplings on your I forget the name of it. Anyways, we're going to take this through here and we're just going to slowly spin these gears around until you notice that it'll kind of suck that fluid down into that diff housing a little bit. And we're just going to kind of, or diff cup I should say, not housing. we're just going to kind of rotate this, get that fluid nice and just kind of sucked down in there. And after a few seconds of doing this, you'll notice that it almost looks like it's empty. That's because the gears have taken the oil on top and pulled it to the bottom. So after you do this, you're just going to take another Allen wrench, because sometimes these will pop up and lose contact with this gear. Take another Allen wrench, push down on it, make sure that it's still seated. And we're going to take a little more diff fluid. Another little glob. Probably a bit too much, but oh well. There we go. We're going to do this again. There you go. See how it popped up? It locked. It's because that came up and lost contact with that bottom gear a little bit. Not a big deal. Just push it back down in there. We're actually done, so Allen wrench fell out at the perfect time. I can assure you that was not done on purpose. But we'll say it is, just so that we look better. Okay. And this, we're just going to take whatever excess is left and just kind of do a little bit of that. Put it on our other output, drive shaft link, whatever you want to call it. The technical term doesn't matter. It's an outdrive, by the way. Put that there. Now, flip this, shake it a little bit, make sure that little gasket's not going to fall off. Get those holes lined up. Here's the tricky part. Getting this ring gear lined up with those holes. Now, this might be a little out of focus for y'all. I'm sorry if it is, but I need my eyes and I need my light. So, just going to have to make sure that all of this is lined up correctly. Take our small, tiny little Allen wrench. We're going to poke down through these holes, make sure everything is lined up how it should be. And it's not. See how it won't go? So take it back apart. And I've sometimes had to do this 4 or 5 times to get this lined up correctly. So take your time, use your head, stay patient. If you're using thin diff fluid and you lay that like that, it'll all leak out. So keep that in mind. I'm using 60,000, so it's probably not going to go nowhere. Maybe if you left it laying overnight, but just for the short amount of time it's going to take me to get all this lined back up, it's fine. Try this again. There we go. Now we're good. So we're going all the way down now. That means our screw holes are lined up. I can take the screws out of my old diffs and put them in. Check this out. See this diff? Look at this play. Can you hear it? Look at all that. So yeah, a worthwhile upgrade in my opinion is also aluminum diff cups, because these tiny little screws will, if they're put under enough pressure, rip out of these plastic cups. So you can also, if you can spare the cash, go with aluminum diff cups. There's plenty of companies that make them. I do not know which ones are good and which ones are not. So keep that in mind. Another thing to keep in mind about all of this, when you're putting these screws right here in, only until they stop. You do not have to torque the hell out of them, because what you're going to do is lock up your diff. In some cases. Some cases you won't, some cases you will. Depends on which truck you're driving or running. But if you tighten these up too much, you can cause issues. Oh yeah, there's not much left in there in terms of oil. Wow. Yep, that was almost empty. Okay. This is the old front diff, by the way. The stock diffs in this truck, just to show y'all. They don't come with any of the supports and pieces that I was showing y'all in there. It's a pin, 2 gears, and the 2 output shafts. And all of that's held in by plastic. So these xo1diff parts are built way stronger. Another thing, when you're putting in these screws here, do a cross pattern. If you tighten up both on this side, you'll wind up, you know, cocking your diff gear over, and then it won't run right. Or when you're running it, you'll notice it makes like a grinding waggle 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 noise. It's because this gear is sitting there doing that as this turns, and the mesh with this is getting more and less. So do this in a cross pattern, just like you would if you were changing the wheels on a full-size car. Don't tighten them all the way down until you get them all on. And then you do one. And then you do the other. And you just go around in an X, basically. Doesn't matter which way you go in an X. Counterclockwise, clockwise, left, right, up, down. It doesn't matter. You just need to tighten the one that's directly across from the previous one you tightened. A lot of people, and I see it all the time, man. And this isn't a dig at any kind of modern generation or anything like that, but I see a lot of people, believe it or not, from my generation, born in the 90s, who don't know this stuff, and then they go, well, I changed my tire yesterday, you know, I put this spare on or whatever, and now the car has a real bad vibration. I don't know what I did wrong. It's because you didn't tighten your lug nuts in a crisscross pattern. Your tire's off centered. You got one part of it that is not like as tightened down as the other, and it causes your tire to wobble. So there's a lot of people from my generation who don't know that, which is very surprising. But not everybody's a car guy. Not everybody knows everything. I don't know everything, but it's a bit of general information there. And now, when you put 2 Allen wrenches through it, and you twist it, it should be nice and buttery smooth. You shouldn't feel any cogging, or you shouldn't turn and it try to lock and then you have to force it to get it to turn. It should be smooth. Alright? So that's how you know it's assembled right. And if it is smooth, then we can go ahead, tighten these down just a hair more. Now remember, they are going into plastic. You don't want to tighten them too much, just until they get stiff. And we can do it again. We're still nice and buttery smooth, so we're good. There you go. That's a rebuilt differential ready to go back in your truck. It's not hard if you're not sitting on camera explaining it, trying to go slow so people can see. It takes 5-10 minutes to do it, if that. There's your rebuilt differential. And these 2 xo1 diffs will be going front and rear in the Traxxas Slash build. So, whoops. There we have it. Thanks for watching. Hopefully this helps some people. Hopefully the information was good. And see y'all next time.